Well, it seems like we're finally here. Clippers playoffs. Clippers playoffs. Man, don't we love Clippers playoffs if we're Clipper fans. Only to always get knocked out in the second round almost every year. Either second or first round. And who knows? This could be another quick playoff run, or maybe hopefully, and I'm saying hopefully for my sanity as a Clippers fan, and every other Clippers fan that has the same sanity, insane, I guess you can say drive and aspiration for this team to finally make it to the Western Conference Finals and maybe hopefully appear in the NBA Finals for the first time in in NBA in their NBA franchise history. So, um, we'll see. Now, this is my, I guess you can say, breakdown, even though I'm not going to go into all the statistics and everything, of the Dallas Mavericks versus Los Angeles Clippers. Whoop-de-doodle-doo. If you want some background information, why I do not look hyped about this matchup at all, why I'm like, okay, good, is because the Clippers tanked the last two games in order to get this. If we had won one of the games, the Thunder the Thunder game or the Rockets game, we would have had the third seed. But because because we tanked the Rockets game, the Thunder were so bad, we almost ended up winning that game. If it wasn't for probably one of the worst NBA players I've seen in my life, in Daniel Oturu, we probably would have won that game. Holy hell, that man got blocked like 8 times that night. Dude, that dude was awful. I don't know why the Clippers picked him, but that dude's a bona fide out of the league player. That dude was getting blocked by second/third stringers on an NBA team. You've got to be joking me. You've got to be joking me. That was probably the worst Oturu could have ever looked, and I don't want him on the team no more. Anyways, because the Clippers tanked, despite what some Clipper fan factions on Twitter say, the Clippers tanked to get the fourth seed, below the fourth seed, avoid some teams that they probably didn't want to play too early. Yes, I know. The Laker fans will probably be like, see, he even said it himself. Whatever. Personally, I'm as the advocate. Listen, get the best available seeding. Who cares? No, at the end of the day, regardless, it's not like the Clippers were going to get home court advantage in essentially the first and second round. They're only going to have home court advantage in the first round. In the second round, whoever they play in the second round, is going to be, well, up for grabs, and stuff like that. So, that's the interesting thing there. Now, the Clippers tanking, my thoughts real quick. I don't even know if I'm make a video. I'm probably not because I feel like we get a lot of flack. Be like, oh, this guy sucks at talking about the Clippers. But whatever. I never liked the strategy to begin with. I really didn't. It was so stupid of the Clippers to do that. Like, why would you do that? Health over rust. That's what Ty Lue said in a press conference. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't bode well if you're going to give me health over rust. You'd rather have the team figuring out how to play with each other in a playoff series when it's win or go home compared to, no, the guys should have continuity. This has been the Clippers strategy the last 2 years. So far, this era of Clippers basketball, they're 0 for 1. Let's try to make it 1 for 1 and get to Western Conference Finals. For me, getting to Western Conference Finals, I say you achieved your dream, your goal. I know the goal should be NBA Finals, but I feel like that's honestly the cherry on top, especially if you win it all this year. But for the Clippers, it's taking this one thing at a time. Get to the Western Conference Finals. Then I would say you had a successful season in terms of franchise history. You get to the finals and maybe hell some surprise who should be in the finals, which is the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, you win it all. I'll tell you one thing. I'll take that championship. I don't care how fluky that championship would be. Clipper fans would be dying for it. Now, listen, it is what to interpret. Some people wanted the Clippers just to lose. Some people wanted the Clippers. Clippers to play Portland. Now, I don't know why the Clippers didn't want to play Portland. I don't know why. It makes no sense. It just doesn't. A third seed against a team you typically do pretty well against, compared to a team you tend to struggle to beat. And I'm talking about the Dallas Mavericks. My whole thought process is like, okay, yeah, the Portland has CJ McCollum, Norman Powell, and Damian Lillard, but they play no defense. And the Clippers, by the best margin out of any team I've watched in the NBA, they have the best like defense against Damian Lillard. They literally like trap him and contain him and make sure he doesn't go crazy. So the reasoning is this. Maybe the Clippers didn't want to come up with a game plan to deal with three unique scorers and compared to the Dallas Mavericks, who really only have one legit dude, and they can formulate a game plan there. That's my only guess into the reason why the Clippers did that, because they say, well, we can take Dallas. We just have to do the best we can. We have to have a formulated game plan, which I'm going to say, which one of the strategies to winning this series is they're going to have to formulate a game plan to slow down Luka or stop Luka Doncic at any cost necessary. I don't care if you're sending damn near quadruple teams. You need to stop this dude. Anyways. And then maybe, again, the factor of the whole Laker play-in game. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what a Clipper fan says. The reason why the Clippers avoided getting the third seed is the fact of the chance of the matchup that it would be a first round matchup, which wasn't going to happen, but a potential second round matchup against the Lakers. I don't know what's the Clippers front office / coaching staff infatuation with getting the Lakers to friggin' the Western Conference Finals and make them go up against these so-called tough opponents that last year we tried that strategy and it didn't work because we failed 1 week short. And the Lakers, we thought, oh, they would have problems beating the freaking Portland Trailblazers. Clearly that didn't happen. We thought they would end up being a trouble for the freaking Houston Rockets. That didn't happen. We'd be tired. They'd be tired out by then. Clearly by the Denver series, they weren't tired out. I personally think the Lakers are the easiest cupcake run to a freaking championship in NBA history. I don't care what anybody fucking says. That was the easiest road to a championship. If your finals opponent is the Miami Heat, especially last year's Miami Heat with no fully healthy Heat team, to be honest, too. That's the easiest run in NBA. That's the easiest run. Anyways, so I'm guessing they were they're hoping to count their chickens that this time everything comes together. Which means, and I'll get into some points I'll mention in this video. Things better come together, because if they don't, we're screwed. And we're back to being the laughingstocks of the league yet again. And I do not want to go on my Twitter and see the Clippers being made fun of again. I want this team to actually go out there and prove all the doubters and the haters wrong. Now, the Dallas Mavericks series. Dude, okay. Dallas. One of the many reasons why I did not want Dallas is because the main man himself who runs the head of the snake, which Ty Lue quote-unquote mentioned in his post-game press conference. And that is that freaking whiny European kid, Luka Doncic, who's no older, who's probably slightly, I don't know, I think, how old is he? He's like no older than me. I'm 22. And he's like 22 or 23. Man, he cries more than I do now. What? Anyways, the reason why I do not say this is a preferable matchup is because, one, Dallas has had our number this season. Two, Dallas gets up to play the Clippers. It doesn't matter how bad they're struggling. They've been struggling on a bad note the last few weeks of basketball, and it doesn't matter because guess what? When they play the Clippers, when they see that Clippers logo, their eyes just light up and be like, oh, it's time to go. And lo and behold, they're like lights out from everywhere. I watched that Dallas Mavericks Clippers series last year. We should have won that series in a sweep. At least we should have won that series in 5 games. But because Doc Rivers and his dumb rotations, like having Reggie Jackson play subsequent minutes, getting switched on to Luka Doncic and hitting a game winning over, doing for some strategy of having Trez guarding Boban Marjanovic. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's put a 5'11 guy on a 7-foot dude. Let's see how that works. Good God. I'll tell you one thing, that strategy can't work at all anymore because guess what? We actually have three centers. Well, we did have three centers. Doc Rivers was unwilling to play Joakim Noah for some dumbass reason, which is another big reason why I feel like this Clippers playoff run could be better if Ty Lue actually coaches like an A-plus coach we expect him to coach like. Anyways, we're going up against Rick Carlisle, who's one of the more smarter head coaches in the league, who adjust on the daily and adjust even after games. Luka Doncic, for as much as annoying his self is when it comes to crying about fouls, he's a great play. He's a really good player at the end of the day. A great player, I'll say that, but he's a really good player. And he definitely is the guy that runs the ship for the Dallas Mavericks. So I guess you can say, obviously, I'm giving game points for the Clippers to end up winning this series. Now, in my personal opinion, the Clippers should sweep the Dallas Mavericks. I don't care how tough the Dallas Mavericks are. The Clippers should sweep the Dallas Mavericks, or we beat them in a gentleman's sweep 4-1. Have like, on what I mean by that, we maybe take the homestand, go up 2-0. Dallas comes game 3. They're like, okay, we're not going to freaking lose this game. Say we win game 3. I feel like game 3 is going to either be a game we win closely or a game we end up losing. And game 4, that's when we take the 3-1 lead and then eventually go back to Los Angeles, finish them off, and what is it? Finish them off in Los Angeles and beat these clowns. This should be no this should be no series that this should be a series that should be honestly as quick as a snap of my finger because that's how better the Clippers are than the Dallas Mavericks. Yes, they have solid role players, but those role players suck. They're not better than any of the role players we have on our teams, like a Tim Hardaway Jr. who lights it up thinking he's his father. Dorian Finney-Smith, Jason Richardson. They recently acquired J.J. Redick. Yada, yada, yada. Porzingis. Huh? The only guy at the head of this whole operation is Luka Doncic. And the thing the Clippers need to do compared to last year is they need to slow this guy down. And when I mean slow this guy down, make it to where he is feeling much more hell than he did last year. Because last year, we were playing this guy 1v1, just lining this guy up, and guess what? He did whatever he wanted. Some Clipper fans are going to be opposed. Okay, let Luka Doncic go do whatever he wants, and we need to stop the other players. Now, that's my strategy when you're trying to beat a LeBron team. When you're beating a LeBron team, let LeBron do whatever he wants because that's LeBron James. Everybody else, like an Anthony Davis and company, can't do nothing. In that case, yes. No. In LeBron's case, yes. Luka Doncic's case, no. Especially with how the lackadaisical the Clippers defense can get at times. So, starting up, first thing, the game plan around beating the Dallas Mavericks needs to be a defensive-minded game plan. We have the offense. Offense is fine. Get the ball movement moving, yada, yada, yada. We know what the offense can do. And the offense needs to hit shots. I'll talk about the offense in a second. But the game plan Ty Lue and the coaching staff needs to come with is a defensive-minded game plan, and it has to be centered around stopping or slowing down Luka Doncic. Probably more than likely the latter of the half, because you cannot stop Luka Doncic. So what I mean is this. Throw everything at him. Everything. I don't care if you're sending blitzing him every possession. I don't care if you're picking him up, double teaming him, full court pressing him, essentially. I don't care. Anything you need to relatively do to get the ball out of Luka's hands and say, okay, we cannot, compared to last year's season, or last year's postseason, We cannot let Luka do whatever he wants. When he's doing hitting shots like deep threes and smiling and doing all this, yeah, I'm getting my foul calls. Ah. When he's becoming James Harden 2.0, and he's feeling himself and he knows he has it, that's when the team becomes more difficult to stop. As well as if you're having guys like a Jason Richardson, Tim Hardaway Jr., JJ Redick, a bunch of their other shooters, Carter Porzingis, hitting shots alongside Luka hitting shots, you're not going to win games. You will probably end up winning the game, but it's going to be a much tougher matchup if they can come down the court and be like, jack up threes, boom, make it. Guess what? Your momentum's halted because of it. That's why I don't want to play that's why I never wanted to play the Dallas Mavericks. They're an annoying team. So the defensive game plan Ty Lue needs to have is a defensive-minded game plan in slowing down Luka Doncic. So send the double teams at him every damn time. You need to get the ball out of this cat's hand. And I don't care if there's Clipper fans saying, but what if you're leaving one man open? I don't care. We have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. It don't matter. We played these guys in the series and there was a point. He dropped 40 on us, and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were guarding him. No, I don't care, man. This has to be different than last year. Continuously, and I mean continuously, and I know it's not going to happen, but if I was the coach, I'd be like, no, we're having none of this Luka Doncic BS. I don't care if he comes down with 15 assists, and if he comes down with 15 assists and 0 points, I'm taking it. I don't care if they double team him, triple team him, or quadruple team him. That's how much I do not want Luka Doncic touching the ball. Personally, if you ask me, the more the Clippers can take Luka Doncic out of the game, it's going to benefit the Clippers in the long run. Okay, yes, the Dallas Maverick role players could be hitting shots at a good rate, but that's not going to stay for all of the game. That's just not going to stay. You're going to miss shots. And if the Clippers play a strategy where they just manhandle Luka Doncic, where he's getting double team, triple team, damn near blitzed every single possession, and that should be the game plan. Blitz him every possession. Do not let this man get the ball beyond someone half court. The moment he touches the half court line, you should have the main primary defender on him. The second guy be like, oh, you know what, screw you, and go at Luka Doncic on the point, because we need to get this guy's ball out of his hand, and the better we can get it out of his hands and get him to pass the ball up, and guess what? Wide open, okay, yeah, let him shoot it. Okay, and if he misses it, good. If he makes it, fine. We'll live with it. It's fine. Let the Dallas Mavericks role players beat you. Do not let Luka Doncic and the role players beat you, because then you're playing with fire there. You're playing with massive fire. So Ty Lue cannot be like Doc Rivers and let these guys go one-on-one with Luka. We've seen what happens when the Clippers go one-on-one with Luka. It never works. You have to send that double team. The moment, I don't care if it's full court pressing double team, I don't care. The moment Luka Doncic passes that, if he's ball handling and he passes that half court line, the second defender should be coming automatically on the sprint, on the jump. It gets the ball out of Luka Doncic's hand, and guess what? Whatever happens there happens there in the defensive players. You do your rotating on defense, yada, yada, yada. There you go. So that's my point one. Point one, defensive mind plan, getting around Luka Doncic. The next defensive game plan, I got really 3 points. The next thing is offense. Offense needs to be crisp, and we need to get ball movement. We cannot do this whole ISO ball movement. Now, Dallas has nobody really to guard a Paul George and especially a Kawhi Leonard. They don't have a lockdown dude. Like their best lockdown primary defender would probably be Dorian Finney-Smith. But even then, he's not that good. He can't stop Kawhi. So make sure the offense got to get these favorable matchups. Passing the ball around is definitely going to be key, because we see when the ball is passed around, guess what? It helps the Clippers in the long run. And usually that's when they get up to big leads and stuff like that. So we got to pass the ball around. We had to be fluent on offense and stuff like that. Every chance we take, we need to score. So that means hitting timely baskets and stuff like that. So that's going to be very much key. Rotations are going to be something to watch for too. I'm going to see if Ty Lue's going to have some good rotations, really good rotations, compared to Doc Rivers' rotation this year. Last year's matchup against the Dallas Mavericks, I don't know what the hell Doc Rivers was smoking. Clipper fans can say the same thing for both rounds of the playoffs. I don't know what the hell Doc Rivers was smoking, and he was there sitting courtside, and he literally thought, we're going to win Trez versus Boban minutes. And we ended up losing those minutes. So hopefully, and I mean hopefully, what I mean by Ty Lue's coaching on the offensive side, if a player is struggling, I expect them to take them out and bring in another player off the bench and be like, give us something that we need. So yeah, because it seems like the 9-man rotation is going to be Kawhi, Paul George, Patrick Beverly, Zubac, Morris, Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, Batum, and I'm guessing Cousins would be in that fold, which would mean, guess what? Man is out. Kennard is out. Now, personally, I'd rather have Man in that thing and go to a 10-man rotation. But we'll see about the lineups and rotations and stuff like that. It's going to be very interesting to see how the offense plays, especially a full healthy offense compared to last year, which wasn't healthy. And I would say my last matchup is obviously going to be the last thing about every series I say going from this point on is Paul George. Yes, PG-13 himself. Now, last year in the bubble, he didn't have the best of series against the Dallas Mavericks. If you ask me, he was pretty bad in that series against the Dallas Mavericks. He didn't show up in any of the games. He didn't contribute much of anything to any games. He was just kind of there. He was only really there for his defensive reasonings. Okay, fine, that's great. But I need offense out of this guy, Paul George. And it starts with the series, getting your redemption. You didn't do good last year against the Dallas Mavericks defensively. I need him to do good. And personally, to be honest, the last few games he played in the regular season, he hasn't been doing too well. And that is like, why were we not playing him? Even if it's just 10 minutes. I don't care. So Paul George needs to be very efficient in this series. And it's just like Kawhi. None of these defenders can guard Paul George. So that's another thing. So that's kind of just it. Some other game plans. The Clippers cannot turn the ball over too much. Give the Mavericks extra possessions. Can't do that. We have to rebound every Maverick shot because usually when we do not secure a rebound, it tends to end up into a second chance points for the Dallas Mavericks or any other team we play. So we got to secure rebounds. We got to secure rebounds when we have a chance to get those. So I expect hustle. I need that. We cannot be lackadaisical lazy because then if we're lazy and the freaking Dallas Mavericks miss 3-point shot only to get the rebound, an offensive rebound, and kick it back out for a 3-point shot it's going to be like, dude, we just had to secure the rebound. So, listen, this series is going to be interesting from a standpoint to watch. Like, it's definitely going to probably be another physical, personal series, which, personally, if you ask me, I don't mind, but at the same time, this is still not a favorable matchup. I would have rather went 3rd seed for Portland. Who cares if you play the Lakers in the second round? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Who cares? And that's the thing. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes, man. It's going to be very interesting to see where this matchup goes because, say, the Lakers with a playing game and they get the AFC, you could still be ending up playing the Lakers in the second round. And it's like, well, you did everything you wanted to avoid from the Lakers, but guess what? You didn't get that, did you? Stupids. So it's going to be very interesting. The Clippers should beat the Dallas Mavericks. I feel confident that they should beat the Dallas Mavericks. And if they don't, hey, you can go back to the strategy of just tanking and be like, well, guess what? We probably should have not did that. Now should we? Huh. Anyways, that's just kind of it. So it's to what your interpretation as a Clipper fan is. I personally don't like the route we took. I don't. I really hate the tanking bullshit. Like, go out there and win games. That's all I'm going to say. But the Clippers play the Dallas Mavericks starting next week. I'll record this video Monday morning. This video is probably going to go up early sometime in the middle of the week. That's kind of it. So, yeah. For Clipper fans or NBA fans in general, what are your thoughts on the Clippers versus Dallas Mavericks series. Will the Dallas Mavericks exact the revenge on the Clippers from last year's playoffs, or will the Clippers, again, which I think, in my opinion, need to freaking assert their dominance over the Dallas Mavericks to shut some NBA fans up and shut some Dallas Maverick fans up to say that the Dallas Mavericks actually had a chance to beat the Clippers in the first place? Because no, they didn't. They never did have a chance to beat the freaking Clippers in last year's playoff. Please. It was just all this and that and stuff like that. Please, Clippers, do me a favor and sweep the Dallas Mavericks so then I can go on Twitter and be like, see, the Dallas Maverick fans, you guys never had a chance in cold hell of beating the Clippers. Anyways, hopefully my game plan strategy works. That's how I would do if I was the coach. And hopefully Paul George shows up because we need him to show up because this is the time he said he's going to be on MFers' asses. So I'm going to live up to what you said you were going to do, Paul George. I don't need that whole thing. You're not shooting. If you're shooting, you're not making shots. You just tap out and be like, okay, I'm going to go to the side and not care. Otherwise, if that's the case, Ty Lue needs to bench his ass and freaking put in somebody else that will actually contribute to the team. Anyways, that's kind of just it. That's all I thought. That's my thoughts on the Clippers Dallas Mavericks series. So if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section again your thoughts. Will Dallas win this series or will the Clippers win this series? And put in the hit that subscribe button to get game recaps on every postseason game I provide for the Clippers going forward on what I hope to be a long playoff run this year, which should result in us getting to the NBA Finals like I think we should, and hopefully overcoming the big three and probably making, like, I guess you can say, honestly, if you ask me, if we were to go all the way to the finals and beat the Nets, I would say this would be a better damn victory than what the Cavs did against the Warriors. Because I don't even know if I don't even know if the Warriors could beat this Nets team because they're firing all cylinders. But who knows? We'll see. If the Clippers get to the finals, the Clippers get to the finals. If we don't, we don't. Personally, I'm just with the advocate gets to the Western Conference Finals. That's the start. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and hopefully you guys are staying safe out there. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.